Hello and welcome to Sunnyside Crochet. Today we will explore a few different ways to make pom-poms without a pom-pom maker. Totally wowed my son with that one. We're in the middle of moving right now, so I don't have my pom-pom makers readily available, so I decided to get a little creative. So I love pom-poms, and I think they just give a fun flair to many different projects. My favorite is putting them on top of hats, but I've also been known to use them as bookmarks. So they come in many different sizes, and we will get a little creative making them, including using some basic items around the house. But to start, we're just going to use our hands. Okay, so we will start off just using one strand to make a pom-pom. What I did, I've already cut off a little tail here to tie it, and you'll see I have it sitting here between my middle and ring fingers. And since it is the middle of winter, I have long sleeves on, so I like to just tuck that tail up in my sleeve just to keep it out of my way. So for me, in making pom-poms, I have discovered that wrapping it around my hand 150 times seemed like a pretty good number to make a nice full pom-pom. So that's all we're going to do. I'm just going to hold the tail with my thumb and just wrap. So I'm at 3, 4, 5. All right. So we have 150 wraps around my hand. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to cut off that end so it doesn't get confused with my other ones here. I will pull them out of my sleeve. Now, if you have a friend sitting close by, you are in luck. You can have them tie this off, and then you can cut the sides and trim it up, and you are all set to do your pom-pom. Unfortunately, I have nobody else here but me, myself, and I. So we're going to get a little creative. We're just going to go around, and we're very, very gently going to ease my hand out of there and then pull that down tight. And you want this really, really super tight because you don't want any of your strings to get pulled out of your pom-pom. So, like I said, really, really super tight, but don't break your string. And these are really, really super simple. You can make them in many, many different colors. Just like that. And all I'm going to do is take my scissors and just right up the middle there and just cut. Those last ones in the middle, and that side is done. We'll do the same thing on the other side. I'm going to try to hang on to these so I don't accidentally cut them. I've done that a few times. Alright. In the middle. Now you can make pom-poms bigger, you can make them smaller. The only thing is, if you're going to make smaller pom-poms, once you get so small, I would suggest switching to a finer yarn, because you'll notice this big of a pom-pom, it kind of covers up where we tied the pom-pom together, but as they get smaller, they don't cover it up as well. Alright, so now that we have the sides of our pom-pom cut, we are just going to trim it up so that it's a little more rounded, because it kind of has an odd shape to it first getting cut. And I actually find this method a lot faster than using a pom-pom maker. And the skein of yarn that I was using for that is an older skein of yarn. I've used it for many other projects. So I was able to pull the yarn out of the middle because it wasn't all scrunched up. If you are using a newer skein of yarn, I would strongly suggest working from the outside because the yarn is flatter. It will straighten out better for you when you tie up your pom-pom, and you'll just get a much better effect. Alright. So that was a solid colored yarn. Move all my trimmings off to the side here. And notice it is just one color. I did do another one in my photo tutorial in a variegated yarn, and I just like how I have different colors in here, and I didn't even have to plan out the different colors. It was nice, but it all depends on what you're going for. So next on our list, we will do a mixed colored pom-pom. Just like this. And my colors for this one, for the video, are, I really want some mint chocolate chip ice cream, but it's cold, so that's going to be put on hold. So my colors are actually inspired by that. So you noticed in my example, it's pretty even with the pink and black because I took both strings together and just wrapped them just like that around my hand 75 times to give me a good effect. And that's all we're gonna do here. I mean, you can space it out, but the counting gets a little interesting. And I'm working from the outside of the screen, so I have to pull some off. Okay. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright, and because we use 2 strands, I only wrapped around 75 times. So we will cut this off, and I will try not to cut myself. Get my thread. And if you don't tuck your beginning thread in there, it's not the end of the world. You can just very gently pull your hand out of your pom-pom. Set your pom-pom on top of it. And just tie your knot. Not a huge deal. Just like that. And we're just going to cut it and trim it just like the other one. Okay, and we'll just trim this one just like we did the first one. And there we go, my mint chip ice cream pom-pom. Good enough to eat. Like I said, I want some mint chip ice cream, but it is cold out there. I mean, the struggle is real over here. It looks just like my black and pink one. And you can trim them up as tight as you want. Depends on what size you're going for. You can even make them with different objects around your house. You can wrap them around toilet paper tubes. If I'm looking for something a little bit smaller than my hand, I have been known to use my wireless hotspot. If you're looking around your kitchen, you can use a spatula, your phone, many different things in your house you can use to wrap around to make pom-poms. However, I will recommend if you are going to go smaller, like a fork, use a finer yarn. I did try it with worsted weight yarn, and you can really notice the gap in here where you tie it together. So if you're going to do that, use a smaller yarn so it'll fill that gap a little better. But basically anything you decide to use will produce great pom-poms, and they're sure to be a hit. They're a great addition to many projects, and they are so much fun to make. So I hope you enjoyed our tutorial today. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on Facebook and Pinterest. Please check out sunnysidecrochet.com for more great ideas. Have a great day, and as always, happy hooking!